Chapter 3. Mimicry. They ran. Boots slammed against concrete, footfalls echoing through the maze of narrow, suffocating corridors in frantic rhythm. Each step sounded louder than the last, ricocheting off the walls like gunshots. The air around them seemed to thicken with every second, humid, metallic, and vibrating with a presence none of them could see, but all of them could feel. Behind them, it followed. Not with speed, but with certainty. A wet, dragging hiss. An irregular scraping, sharp and deliberate. And beneath it all, the slow, dreadful pull of something heavy being dragged across the floor. No one looked back. Noah led the charge. Flashlight bobbing wildly with each stride, its beam trembling against the shifting dark. Logan kept to the rear, eyes locked behind them, every few seconds flicking backward, jaw clenched and steady. He didn't breathe harder. He didn't panic. He watched. "Left," Noah shouted, his voice echoing down the hallway as he veered sharply into a side passage. There was no hesitation. The others followed, pivoting sharply as the group funneled into a broader corridor. The passage opened into a larger space, a central room, once a control hub of some kind. Now, it was a hollow, broken skeleton. Terminals rusted and buckled, eaten through by corrosion, cables twisted along the floor like veins, tangled and frayed. Glass, shattered long ago, sparkled like scattered ice across the concrete. They backed away from the entrance, gasping, stumbling into a loose defensive circle near the room's center. Everyone scanned the darkness, their beams cutting through dust and decay. Then, stillness. No sound of pursuit, no hiss, no drag. Only the pounding of their hearts and the echo of their breath bouncing off the ruined walls. Lily dropped to one knee, hand clutching her chest. Her breathing came in hard, shallow pulls. Sarah crouched beside her, rubbing her back wordlessly, her own breaths just as uneven. Eric was the first to speak, voice cracking. What the hell was that? No one answered. Noah stood by a broken observation window, half covered in grime. He didn't turn to face them. He didn't need to. "It didn't chase us," he said at last. His voice was low, thoughtful. It showed itself. Just enough to scare, to control. Logan nodded once, still positioned near the doorway, rifle ready. "It's not hunting." They looked at him, the implication sinking in. "It's herding," he finished. "Pushing us. It wants us somewhere specific." Eric swore, rubbing a hand through his hair. "This is insane. We shouldn't be going deeper. We should be getting out. Whatever's down here isn't something we want to meet again." Lily straightened slowly, her hand still trembling slightly. Facilities like this. They had emergency tunnels, fail-safes. If we can find one, there's a chance we can escape, maybe. Sarah narrowed her eyes. "How do you know that?" Lily hesitated, a flicker of conflict on her face. "I worked on something once. Not this place, but something connected. It was funded by Delrex Biotech, same shell company, same infrastructure. The protocols were identical. Every site had an evacuation route." Noah's expression darkened. He turned sharply to her. "Delrex? That's a defense contractor." "They had a biotech wing," Lily said, not backing down. "Or they did. Before it got shut down, quietly." Logan folded his arms, his voice hard. And you're just telling us this now? I wasn't sure until I saw the tags on the wall, she said, her voice tight. Even now, I'm not sure. But we're already here. I'm not hiding anything, not anymore. A heavy silence filled the room, thick with unspoken questions, accusation, and fear. Sarah spoke first, her voice the calmest among them. If there's a way out, we take it. Doesn't matter where it leads. Anything's better than waiting around for whatever that thing is. Noah nodded. Agreed. We move fast. It's not far behind us. Eric stood near one of the remaining terminals. Some of these systems are still live. If I can pull the schematics, we might be able to find that exit. Make it fast, Logan said, glancing at the hallway. This room won't protect us for long. As Eric worked, Noah stepped away from the others. He leaned a hand against the wall, letting the shadows half swallow him. His fingers twitched faintly, just enough to betray what he wouldn't say aloud. Fear. He'd always been the one who stayed, the one who didn't run when things got hard. When the others left town, moved on, chased lives beyond the tree line, Noah stayed behind first for his mother, then for his younger brother. And after the accident, after the loss, he never left. He became part of the woods instead. Leadership had never been a choice. It had just happened. Now, as the world twisted around him, he wondered if that choice, to stay, to survive, had damned him somehow. You all right? Logan's voice came from behind him. Noah blinked, straightening. Yeah, just thinking. Logan gave him a long look, then turned silently back to the door. Across the room, Sarah drifted closer to Lily and Eric. Her mind was elsewhere. She barely noticed when Noah approached her side. You mentioned your kid? He said softly. She nodded. Mason, he's 7. You came back for him? Sarah gave a hollow laugh. I came back because I thought I'd lost myself. Thought proving I was still more than just mom meant doing something reckless, something brave. Chasing who I used to be. Noah looked down the hallway they'd come through. You didn't lose anything. You adapted. That's survival. That's strength. Their eyes met. For a moment, the room was quiet, grounded in something real, something human. Then Eric stood abruptly. Got it. There's a stairwell 3 corridors down. It leads to an access shaft. If the foundation's still intact, it might take us to the surface. Then that's where we're going, Noah said, already moving toward the door. Logan cracked the entrance open and swept the hallway with his light. Clear, for now. They moved in a tight formation, slipping out one by one. The hallway felt different now. Not just darker, but wrong. The shadows hung heavier, draping the corners in thick, oily blackness that refused to disperse under their lights. The air pressed against their skin. Cold, damp, heavy, like someone breathing directly into their faces. Their footsteps echoed back at them with strange distortion, softer than they should have been, like the building itself was swallowing the sound. Eric paused mid-step. Do you guys hear that? They froze. A faint clicking, not mechanical, not organic. Something in between, that came from the walls, behind them, above them, circling. Noah crouched quickly, pressing his palm to the floor. Vibrations, steady, purposeful. Double time, he said, They quickened their pace, tension coiling in every step. More doors passed them by, each marked with stenciled labels that made their skin crawl. Genome holding, containment B2, neural stimulation. Lily slowed at one door. Someone had scrawled across the steel in faded red marker. We gave them names. That was the first mistake. She stared, her heart hammering against her ribs. Sarah gently tugged her away. Lily, come on. They didn't look back. The clicking grew louder, closer, sharper now. It scraped at their nerves. They rounded a corner and stopped at a door. Massive, steel, half collapsed. The hinges bent outward like melted plastic. Something had torn through it, violently. Logan approached first, flashlight raised. Whatever was in here, it wanted out. Noah helped pry the door open just enough to squeeze through. The room beyond was a surgical theater. Time had ravaged it. The mint green walls were peeling in ragged flakes. The air smelled of antiseptic, mold, and rot. Surgical lights dangled like broken arms from the ceiling. At the center stood a rusted operating table, stained dark with something long dried. The corners of the room were watched, each angle fitted with cameras, all aimed inward, toward the table. Sarah stepped in. Her light swept across a wall. She stopped. A cork board, covered in photographs, hundreds of them. Each one pinned carefully, each one tagged and numbered. Some were faded, others curled at the edges. All were marked with disturbing precision. Children, animals, and things in between. Jesus, Eric whispered, his voice barely audible. Noah stepped forward, reading a tag aloud. Subject 47C. Accelerated cell division. Cognitive retention, high. Aggression, increasing. They weren't just testing, Lily said. They were documenting transformation, mutations, progress. Sarah's beam paused on a sequence in one corner. A young boy, no older than 11. The first photo showed a child smiling. The next, wider eyes. The next, an elongated jaw. Then reflective pupils, hollow skin. By the final frame, he was no longer human. That's not science, Sarah said, her voice cracking. That's torture. Eric stumbled to the side and vomited behind a rusted cart. Logan stood rigid at the edge of the room, flashlight fixed on a large window set into the wall. Beyond the glass lay a chamber, dimly lit by flickering emergency lights. Claw marks raked across the inside of the glass, deep, deliberate. Noah turned to leave, then froze. A figure was slumped in the far corner of the adjacent room. "Someone's there," he said. Everyone tensed. Noah stepped closer, light raised. It was a person, or what had once been one. A lab coat clung to a skeletal form. Skin was gray, brittle, and stretched too tightly over protruding bones. The fingernails had blackened, curled like claws, but it was the face that stopped them. Stitched, sectioned, reassembled like someone had tried to piece it back together, and failed. Near the corpse's feet, a badge lay half buried in dust. Dr. Elias Mercer. Lily stepped back, her face drained of color. That's him. From the logs. He tried to stop it. Eric backed toward the door, panic rising in his voice. "We need to go. Now." Noah nodded grimly. "We've seen enough." One by one, they filed into the hallway. But Logan lingered a moment longer, staring at the body. Something gnawed at him. The skin hadn't moved, but the room was cold, and the corpse was still warm. Thank you so much for listening to this story. Your support means a lot and helps keep these tales coming. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to subscribe and follow for more dark and immersive stories just like this one. New horrors await. Don't miss what's coming next.